Lester and the Ipecac, a story for everyone. Lester was a peculiar man in his early 40s with a jumper that always looked freshly ironed and glasses that perpetually perched just so on the bridge of his nose. He had a smugness about him, a self-assuredness that bordered on insufferable. Lester always thought he knew best. He claimed to be immune to the hiccups, immune to embarrassing sneezes, and of course immune to vomiting. So, when Lester stumbled across a bottle of Ipecac at the back of the bathroom cabinet during one of his overly thorough cleaning sprees, he scoffed. "This stuff," he muttered, holding the bottle up to the light. "This is supposed to make you throw up? Nonsense. It wouldn't work on me. My stomach is ironclad." With an audience of none but his pet goldfish, Sir Bubbles, Lester felt the sudden urge to prove his theory. "Ipecac! Ha! More like Ipecac!" he announced triumphantly to the fish, who floated serenely, utterly indifferent. And so, in his infinite wisdom, Lester poured himself a shot of Ipecac. He stared at the viscous liquid in the glass, its medicinal tang wafting up to his nose. "To science," he declared smugly, as though he were about to make some groundbreaking discovery. Down it went in one gulp. For a moment, nothing happened. Lester stood there, smirking at his own reflection in the mirror above the sink. "See? What did I tell you, Sir Bubbles? My stomach is—" Suddenly, a gurgle, a deep, ominous gurgle that came from the pit of his very being. The smirk on Lester's face faltered. Another gurgle. His hand instinctively went to his stomach. "Oh no," he whispered. Before he could formulate another thought, it hit him. Like a tidal wave of regret, Lester was overtaken by the most violent, unstoppable bout of vomiting he had ever experienced or imagined. "Blug!" The sound echoed through the house, alarming Sir Bubbles, who darted to the other side of his bowl. Lester bent double, clutching the edge of the sink as an unstoppable geyser erupted from his mouth. His glasses fogged up, tears streamed from his eyes, and his face turned the exact shade of an overripe tomato. The irony of his earlier smugness hit him like a truck, but he didn't have time to process it, because round two was on its way. He bellowed, now stumbling toward the kitchen. His jumper was no longer freshly ironed. It was decidedly dishevelled, just like his dignity. Every time he thought it was over, another wave came. "No, no, no! Blug!" He leaned against the fridge for support, his legs wobbling like jelly. By the time the ordeal finally subsided, Lester was a wreck. His jumper clung to him like a soggy dish rag, his glasses were askew, and his hair was plastered to his forehead in sticky tufts. He slid to the floor, utterly defeated. Sir Bubbles, having observed the entire debacle, swam lazily back to the centre of his bowl and gave a single bubble, as though to say, "I told you so." From that day forward, Lester never questioned the power of Ipecac, or anything else for that matter. His smugness, like his stomach, had been thoroughly emptied. And though he would never admit it, he couldn't hear the word Ipecac without a shiver running down his spine. As for Sir Bubbles, he became the true king of the house, often blowing bubbles in triumph whenever Lester approached, a silent reminder of that fateful day when smugness met its match.